Hey parents, Chinwe Williams here, and I want to talk to you for just a few minutes about a topic that comes up over and over again in the therapy room and in my conversations with families. I want to talk about how I can talk about death to my child or my student. So we as adults know that death is inevitable. However, when it hits close to home, such as the death of a grandparent, a parent, a spouse, or even a beloved pet, it can feel so devastating, not just to us, but of course to our kids. And just because we're grown-ups, it doesn't mean that we're gonna know how best to cope for ourselves or exactly the right words to say to our kids, especially when we ourselves are grieving. So, whether it's a family member or a beloved pet, each child is going to go through their own process of grief. And it's going to largely depend on where they are developmentally in terms of their age and also their maturity level. So let's start with toddlers and preschoolers. So children in this age group really understand death in terms of someone has moved away. So you may hear your child say, "When's grandma coming for dinner? Is she gonna come back into town?" You may hear your child say something like, "Is Aunt Mimi gonna be at her house so we can go visit?" So they're not gonna fully understand that death is inevitable. So they're gonna have lots and lots of questions. So be prepared to repeat yourself quite a bit. And when it comes to preschoolers, you want to remember to just avoid euphemisms. So when it comes to us talking to each other as adults, that's totally fine. But when we're talking to kids, especially younger kids, we want to avoid euphemisms such as grandma's gone away or Uncle George has passed on, because they just don't understand it. Their minds are so literal and that language is really just too nebulous or fuzzy for them. So we want to be clear and say, Aunt Mimi has died, her body stopped working, and mommy and daddy are really sad about that. And then you want to inquire about how they are doing. And so when it comes to providing comfort, you want to do whatever is meaningful to your child. So that might be an extra cuddle. For my boys, they love their backs to be rubbed. It might be 2 extra books at bedtime, anything that helps them to feel safe and secure. And speaking of books, books are so wonderful when it comes to helping you to explain death and loss to your children, and they can be written in really age-appropriate ways. So when it comes to older kids or students, one thing to remember is that they may not know exactly how to process this, and they may experience a full range of emotions. So they may feel sad, they may feel fearful, they may actually feel angry. I want you to know that all of those emotions, all of those reactions are actually quite normal. And so the same thing applies in terms of, providing comfort, reassurance, and support. And something that's been so helpful for my family, we actually lost my mother-in-law about a month and a half ago, is a memorial activity. So we actually were gifted a plant that we were able to, a tree actually, that we were able to plant in the backyard, and that served really as a beautiful memorial. But for your child, they may enjoy writing, they may enjoy drawing, anything that will provide some comfort and will allow them to remember their lost loved one is perfectly okay. And then finally, parents, just take care of yourselves. This is such a difficult time, and we know that our kids are gonna take really their cues from us. And if we've lost someone that's close to us, it's going to be really difficult to always be strong. So know that you can lean on just another adult, a family member, and even a therapist if you need it to provide support. And then finally, I just want you to know that if you're watching this today, you're already a fantastic parent. So thank you so much for joining me. And I just want you to know that you got this.